Hello everybody, hope you're all keeping safe and well. It's Danielle from Tinybeegle and Made in Ashford here, and I'm going to show you how to make a tassel garland. I've done loads of these before in the past, so I usually do rainbow ones, but we've got VE Day celebrations coming up this week, so I thought I'd go with a red, white and blue for you today. So what you're going to need is some wool, red, white and blue, but again, as I say, you can do any colours you like, some scissors, some string, some thick card. It's quite rigid, this stuff. This is from a shoebox. A pom-pom maker. If you haven't got a pom-pom maker, you can use your fingers, or I've made this snazzy thing that I'll show you how to use later. And yeah, your string, like in a contrasting colour. I wanted red and white twine. I found this is actually butcher's twine, so but this will do. Needs must, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is make our tassels. So we need to cut a piece of card approximately 6 inches high, and it doesn't really matter how wide, but quite wide because you don't want your, about this wide so you don't lose your wool off the edge of it. And what we're going to do is wrap our wool around this, and we're going to do it 45 times for 1945. And you start with your wool hanging at the bottom like that, and then just keep wrapping. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there we go, and we finish down the bottom, and we cut our string here, and then we pull this off. So when we've wrapped, if you try not to wrap too tightly, otherwise this bit's going to be quite hard, because you want to be able to get it off, and then you end up with a loop like that, and you want your bits of wool to be at the bottom. And then we'll put these out of the way and we'll make our other ones. So here we have our 6 bits of wool, and these will end up being our tassels. The next thing we need to do is to string them up. So we get our piece of string and we make a loop on the end, and this is just a little loop to be able to hang it up with. Just tie a knot. Like that, so you've got a loop like that, and then you thread it through your first ring of wool. You remember to have your loose bits hanging at the bottom, and then when you get about, what's that, about 4 or 5 inches from the end, you want to tie in a nice tight knot. So we're going to do a double knot, so 1, 2, and pull it super tight. Okay, and you can sort of see already that's starting to be tassely. So next thing we do, we find the middle, then we get our scissors and we kind of pull tight like that and snip, and that way you should have a nice even lengths, and we're going to give it a haircut at the end, so don't worry too much. Okay, then we're going to keep going basically. So I've cut quite a long piece of string. I think if you do about 2 meters, and then you won't need anywhere near that much, but it's best to have it too long and to trim it off than to have too little. Oh, sorry, taking a bit of pom-pom maker with me there. Okay, and again, make sure your things are at the bottom, and this time we want there to be quite a narrow gap, so we want about about 2 inches I'd say between them. But the first one, it doesn't really matter so much, but you can use this gap for all your next ones to measure against. Okay, so that's our first two. So again, the end. Right, try and be careful when you do this bit not to catch your long bit of string in your wool, because you don't want to snip it off, that'd be a disaster. And then now for this next bit, you can measure where your, how far your distance should be with the other one. So do that. It's more or less, you can keep fiddling with it, but that's more or less okay. Tie a nice tight knot. Pull out, snip, and keep going. So we've got red, white, blue, and we'll go red, white, blue. So we're just going to keep on going. So there we have all of our bits strung up. Now you can keep going, you can make more, but I've just done 6 just for speed, for showing you how it's done. You can also make the gaps between wider if you like. I quite like them close together. I think they look really smart like that. But you can have them if you want to do less but make it cover a wider space. You can always go for bigger gaps. Right, so now we want to make our loop at the other end. So make sure these 2 bits are the same length. So you want those even, and then we're going to make another loop on this side. Just tie a knot. Okay. Just give it, make sure you trim the right bit off. Okay, and now we need to turn these bad boys into tassels. So I'll show you how it's done. It's really easy. So we're going to give it a nice little brush. Just brush through and try and make that bit all neat. Then lie it down like that. And you need to get a bit of contrasting wool, and it needs to be long enough to tie round and for the long lengths to be as long or longer than this. Otherwise, if you do it shorter, when you cut it, it won't be the same length as all the other tassels and it will look a bit messy. So just lie that underneath. We want to get like a nice ball quite near the top. Oops, just lie it like that. Tie there like that. So you do one really tight, and then again to make it nice and secure. There we go, that's your tassel. And then we chop the end off, and we'll chop all the, try and make it all a bit even while we do that. Oops, again be careful not to cut your other bit of string. I'll just show you that again with the white one. then you basically keep going until you've done them all like that. So there we have our lovely tassels all made up, and they look really cute. And you could just keep going, leave them like that, or keep adding more on, and not do anything else. But I like to add on some pom-poms on either end for a little bit of extra something on them. So I'm just going to show you how to make some pom-poms. So I have a pom-pom maker, which is absolutely brilliant. You can make these in no time, they're so easy. But I know we're in lockdown and lots of people haven't got pom-pom makers, and it's best to try and think of a way to make them using things around the house. So you could use a fork. So forks are really good for making pom-poms, for an easy something around the house way to do it. So you just basically wrap your wool round and round and round loads and loads of times, and then you tie up between the fork prongs. But they're really small. It doesn't really work for this. We want some nice sort of big pom-poms. So I've used a really thick piece of card, and I've worked out the sort of size I want my pom-pom to be, and I've cut out a hole in the middle so that I can wrap around and around and around, and then tie my thing through. So I'm just going to show you how it looks with this. So also what I do to make life easier for myself is, rather than wrapping round and round and round with one long piece of wool, I first get loads of bits of wool together and make a long bit with lots of strands in, just to make this bit quicker for me. So hold it like that, and you just keep wrapping round and round till you get it to the chunkiness that you want. Don't worry about any hangy bits, because they're all going to be cut away. I want it quite chunky, so I'm going to keep going. So there we go, we've got it all wrapped round. You can make it even chunkier than that if you like. I'll put my wool through there, around the back, and then up through here, like that. And then I tie it really super tight as you can. And then you get your scissors through there like that, and cut it at the top like that. Make sure you keep hold of the two ends where you tied. Oh, I hope you could see that. Oh, make sure you cut all the bits as well, otherwise it's not going to go anywhere. And then, oops, pull it through on one side through your letterbox opening. And there we have it, a very scruffy pom-pom, but we're going to give it a haircut. So it's not going to look as good as the one that's come out of the proper pom-pom maker, but it will do. And we're going to give it quite a severe haircut, a lockdown haircut. Try and do a better job than I did on my husband's hair. I think that's pretty good for a homemade pom-pom. I think that's fab. So one bit through the loop, like that. tight. We'll do 3 ties on this just for extra safety. Give it a snip. Have it a little bit longer than the other bits just to stop it from falling off, because it might do otherwise. And then do the same on the other side. And just put it down to the knots hidden in the pom-pom. There we have it. That's our pom-pom tassel garland, and you can hang it up in your window or across your mantelpiece or outside your house. When you've all done, if you're not happy, just give it a little extra haircut, and you can make these in any colours you like for any theme. I do green, red and white ones for Christmas. The rainbow ones look really cool, but whatever theme, whatever colours you've got in your room, you can do them to match, and they're just a really easy, simple craft to do. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and share us on Facebook, and then the Made in Ashford website. We've got loads of free craft activities, including our VE Day pack, which is going phenomenally well. Thanks for everyone who's been downloading it and using it, and these will go really nicely with those decorations. So enjoy and stay safe and keep well, and see you all soon. Thank you. Bye.